Hallelujah, my friends. This is Hemi. Welcome to part 6 of Level Up by Relationships. Today, we're going to talk about 7 best practices for troubled relationships. 7 best practices for troubled relationships. Signs of an abusive relationship. 1. Your partner isolates you from your loved ones. They try to isolate you. They try to keep you from being around people who will expose their ulterior motives and their manipulative practices. If you are in an abusive relationship, the person you're in that relationship with, the abuser, does not want you to be around loved ones because loved ones will expose them. The person verbally abuses a person who's in an abusive relationship. When I say verbally abusive, calling you names, putting you down, cursing at you, and belittling you, trying to make themselves seem better than you are. Another sign of an abusive relationship is a partner who is the abuser uses fear. Uses fear. Fear, I'll do this to you if you do this. Or another one of the big manipulative fear tactics is you can't do anything without me. Without me, you're nothing. Another sign of an abusive relationship is the abuser physically abuses. Physically abuses. Listen, if someone puts their hand on you, it's not love. And you cannot make excuses for someone physically abusing or you abusing you, period. But especially physically abusing you. If you are being physically abused, talk to someone, seek someone, get some help, talk to a family member, talk to a cleric, someone in your church, your synagogue, your mosque. Talk to someone, talk to your healthcare professionals, talk to the police. Now, 7 best practices for a troubled or an abusive relationship. One is you have to admit that there's a problem. You've got to admit that there's a problem. Now, look, the abuser may not admit that there's a problem. The abuser may not see that there's a problem. And really, there is no problem to the abuser because the abuser is profiting somehow off of your being abused. So they may not admit that there is a problem, but you've got to admit that there is a problem. That's best practice number 1. Best practice number 2, don't beat yourself up for getting into a relationship or a situation. Forgive yourself. If you realize that you are in an abusive relationship and you've got to get out of it, get out of it. And don't beat yourself up because of it. Many times people get in abusive relationships and it's almost like a repeat cycle. Why do I keep getting into these? And we're going to talk about that in one of the best practices. Why do I keep getting into these abusive relationships? But don't beat yourself up. Get out of it and promise I'm not going back again. Best practice number 3. Understand how manipulation works. 9 times out of 10, in an abusive relationship, there is manipulation. Find out how manipulation works. And we may have to do a talk on manipulation real soon. Find out how manipulation works. Number 4, value yourself. Value yourself. When I went through my 3rd divorce, I had to sit myself down from ministry. I sit myself down from relationships. And I said to myself, I've got to get myself together. I've got to get myself together. I value me enough not to get into another relationship and hurt another person or allow another person to hurt me. I've got to find out who I am, work on me. And many of the things I'm talking to you about in relationships came as a result of my working on myself, getting myself together, valuing me not to hurt anymore, valuing me not to hurt anyone else anymore. Number 5, find a solution. Find a solution and then commit to the solution. Find a solution. The solution may be, I just need to leave this all together, particularly if we're not married. If we're not married, I need to get out of this. I need to maybe move in with a friend, move in with my loved ones, swallow my pride. Some people who get out of abusive relationships may even have to go to an abuse shelter, abusive, to escape that individual, because that individual has gotten a hold of that of the abusive person's mind, and they control the mind, and they not only control the abuser's mind, in their mind they are controlling the abuser's mind, and they feel that they have to have control over that individual, and having control over that individual is self-gratifying to themselves. So they feel empowered to be a man or a woman by abusing the person that they're abusing. Man, abuse is some tough stuff, and it's 9 out of 10 times done by manipulation. So find a solution. Find a solution, and you may have to pray for about the solution, may have to seek professional help, but find a solution and then commit to the solution. Number 6, notice triggers that will motivate you to go back in that same situation. If you get out, notice what the triggers are, and don't rush to get back in a relationship if you've gotten out of an abusive relationship. Sit yourself down, work on you, get yourself together, and don't go be in a rush to get back, get out. And sometimes we can be like 90% out of an abusive relationship, and that person calls, or we pick up the urge. We have an urge to pick up the phone and call that person, and before you know it, we're right back in that same situation again. So ask yourself, why am I being attacked? What is inside of me that is attracting the wrong person? What is inside of me that is making me lash out and making me be an abusive? Because in an abusive relationship, you have the abuser and the one who is being abused. Both of them are victims. Both of them are victims. So you have to ask yourself, why am I attracting myself to someone that I can abuse, or someone who can abuse me? And number 7, seek professional help. Seek professional help. Preferably from licensed individuals, someone who has been professionally trained. Ministers are good to talk to, but ministers 9 out of 10 are not equal. 99 out of 100 are not equipped to handle a long-term counseling for abusive relationships. 99 out of 100 are not equipped. I only know one pastor who has gone through counseling from I believe it's Regents University, a reputable university, and that person is equipped to handle it. Ministers are not equipped 99 times out of 100. Seek professional help. Talk to someone. Talk to someone. The number one thing I could say to get the ball rolling to escape an abusive relationship is to talk to someone. Don't feel that you're so high and that people will think so low of you because you are in an abusive relationship. You're never so high that you cannot humble yourself and go to someone and say, hey, I'm hurting, and this person is hurting me. Never think you so high that you can't have that conversation with someone. And never think that somebody is going to think low of you. And never think of yourself as being so low that you can't talk to someone, you know. So this is Hemi. I love you. I hope you enjoyed Level Up by Relationships. We've only really scratched the surface. We've only scratched the surface. But if we have been able to reach one person through these videos, the surface scratching has not been in vain. All right, this is Hemi. I love you. I'll see you later in the Move of the Spirit. God bless you. Bye-bye.